Living by a river, creek, or stream is great for getting outside and connecting to nature. It also means you have a frontline role in protecting water quality, promoting wildlife habitat, and preventing devastating losses from erosion. You can preserve your riverbank and be a good neighbor to everyone downstream by adopting river-friendly practices on your property. Let's start with some simple things you can do to limit problems stemming from your yard. Minimize the use of pesticides and fertilizers. Reduce the amount of water flowing to the river by aerating your lawn and planting trees and shrubs to help rain seep in, and by redirecting downspouts away from the bank. Capture rainwater in a rain barrel for reuse or send it to a rain garden to let it soak into the ground. In areas where clean water is still concentrating and flowing over the bank, send it through a pipe to the bottom of the slope to avoid erosion. Or place bundles of plant material horizontally to intercept this flow and trap water and soil. Don't dump leaves or grass clippings down the riverbank. This smothers helpful plants and overloads the river with nutrients. Instead, reduce yard waste by mulch mowing grass and leaves and dispose of remaining waste through local drop-off sites, curbside pickup, or composting. Next, identify and address erosion control needs throughout your riverbank. Erosion along rivers is a natural process that constantly changes their shape. However, this turns into a problem when roads and buildings are threatened by shifting riverbanks, or when severe erosion harms water quality and habitat. Erosion can steal your land little by little over the years, or all at once overnight. Fortunately, there's a lot you can do to reduce and repair riverbank erosion. Begin by inspecting your riverbank for signs of erosion, which can be caused by both water running over the bank from your yard and water flowing within the river. Throughout the riverbank, watch for bare patches of soil, exposed roots, and small channels running down the slope, especially after heavy rain and flooding. Erosion happening below the waterline can be easy to miss. During low water, check to see if the bottom of the riverbank recedes under the overlying tree and shrub roots. Watch for trees that are leaning or shifting downward, and cracks or shifts in the soil in the middle or the top of the bank. If you plan to build on your land, leave space and trees between that project and the river. The steeper and taller your bank is, the more space you'll need to leave. This gives the river room to shift and provides the space needed to install erosion control projects. Ideally, address erosion control needs prior to building. The area where the land starts to slope down to the river is called the bluff. Avoid mowing to the bluff because the roots of mowed grass only extend a couple inches into the soil. Instead, leave in place or plant a buffer of native trees, shrubs, sedges, grasses, and wildflowers, whose deep interconnected roots will act like a net holding the soil in place. Buffers also soak up water, trap pollutants, and provide habitat for pollinators and other wildlife. When done strategically, you can get the benefits of a buffer planting while framing your view of the river instead of blocking it. Beyond the bluff is the sloping riverbank, which also needs a dense and diverse plant community to be stable. Encourage the growth of beneficial native plants by removing invasive species like buckthorn, thinning out weedy species like grapevine, and pruning the lower branches of trees to help light reach the ground. Add a variety of native plants to replace turf grass, and fill bare patches of soil by seeding or planting grasses, sedges, flowers, trees, and shrubs. In places where it's hard to dig a hole, cuttings from willow or dogwood shrubs can be inserted into a small hole driven by a rod and are able to take root and grow. To succeed, the plants on your slope should be adapted to your sunlight, soil type, moisture, and flooding conditions. Bare soil should be covered by material like erosion fabric or mulch to give temporary protection while plants regrow. While a riverbank held in place with vegetation alone is ideal, correcting existing erosion may require more. Steep banks often need to be reshaped into a gentler slope, which is more stable and better at supporting plant growth. If there isn't enough room for this, the bank can be sloped back a bit and reinforced with specialized products designed to hold steep slopes in place. River access with stairs or trails down the slope suppresses plants, creating weak points more prone to erosion. Make sure the ground underneath stairs is protected with erosion fabric or rock. Better yet, embed stairs into the bank. While it might feel natural to put stairs or trails at the lowest point on your riverbank, this should be avoided because water concentrates and flows to these locations, making your access more likely to erode. Fixing erosion below the waterline and down to the toe of the slope is the most critical and complicated step to stabilize your riverbank. This is the zone where plants just won't grow, and if it isn't stable, nothing you do higher up the bank will last. The best solution for toe erosion depends on the nature of your problem. It might be possible to use bioengineering, an approach that mimics nature to reinforce the bank while supporting river ecology. One such method is called a tree revetment, where an overlapping line of bushy trees like red cedar are cut and anchored along the toe of the riverbank. Another method involves burying large tree trunks into the riverbank with their roots facing outward. These materials slow and divert water, allowing sediment to settle out and rebuild the bank, while also providing habitat for fish and other river critters. In more severe cases, armoring the base of the riverbank with rock riprap is favored. With this approach, rock is placed on top of a durable fabric or gravel layer to prevent soil from washing out. The bottom layer of rock is trenched into the riverbed so that it can't be undermined. Rock size and shape are carefully selected to stand up against the river's erosive forces. For example, large angular rocks lock together and are better in fast-moving water. Riprap placement should extend from the toe up to the zone where plants will grow. Finally, concrete and retaining walls are used as a last resort for the most extreme problems, but they are expensive and hard to engineer, don't provide ecological benefits, and can worsen erosion downstream because their smooth surface doesn't absorb any of the river's energy. Stabilizing ongoing erosion is usually not a do-it-yourself project. This process typically requires permits and many months of careful planning, so you'll want to get help from experts. A site-specific design will incorporate multiple elements to treat different zones of the riverbank, from the toe to the bluff, while accounting for many complicating factors. You might have more complications if your property is on a big river or the outer bend of a river, is in an area of fast-moving water, has deep water close to the bank, has a taller steep bank, has loose sandy soils, has groundwater seepage from the bank, or has buildings or other structures close to the bluff. Once you have a good design, a professional should be hired to install the project safely and effectively. Costs vary widely depending on the needed design expertise, permits, site access, equipment, materials, and labor. Residential projects often cost tens of thousands of dollars. Fortunately, some state and local governments have programs to offset the cost of project design or installation. Adopting river-friendly lawn practices, maintaining well-vegetated banks, and addressing erosion early protects and enhances your property while helping you avoid more expensive repairs down the road. It also improves the river's water quality and provides important habitat for wildlife. When more of us work together to care for our riverbanks, the benefits are multiplied, creating a healthier river for us and countless people downstream to enjoy. Make sure to watch the rest of our animated Our Connection video series to learn more about your role in conservation.